The world number one is in the same draw, and she just watched Alex Eala skip the first round entirely. Aryna Sabalenka has been watching the Filipina sensations rise with a mixture of respect and curiosity. And when she saw Eala's name as the No. 17 seed in Cincinnati, she knew exactly what it meant. The 21-year-old who once said she'd steal Sabalenka's serve is now standing right beside her as an equal in the draw. The WTA 1000 event in Cincinnati just got a whole lot more interesting. With a first-round bye secured, Eala is fresh, rested, and ready to chase the $7.43 million prize pool. And Sabalenka, the two-term defending U.S. Open champion, is watching closely. Is a Sabalenka-Eala showdown finally about to happen? The exhaustion was real. The defeat in Toronto was fresh. But when Alex Eala looked at the Cincinnati Open draw, she knew she had been given something priceless. Time. Seeded No. 17 in the WTA 1000 event, the 21-year-old Filipina sensation has earned a first-round bye for the second consecutive tournament. And after a grueling 11 matches in 14 days that left her as tired as one can be at this stage, the extra rest could be the difference between another deep run and another early exit. The Cincinnati Open, which runs from August 13 to 23 at the Lindner Family Tennis Center in Mason, Ohio, is one of the most prestigious events on the WTA calendar outside the Grand Slams. With a staggering $7,433,076 prize pool, it serves as the final major tune-up before the U.S. Open, drawing virtually every top player in the world. Aryna Sabalenka, Elena Rybakina, Jessica Pegula, Coco Gauff, and defending champion Iga Swiatek are all in the field, creating a draw that could produce any number of blockbuster matchups. Eala's No. 17 seeding is the highest of her career at a WTA 1000 event. Just weeks ago, she was the number 25 seed in Toronto. Now she sits alongside the sport's biggest names, a testament to her meteoric rise. The seeding came about due to a combination of her own results. Her DC Open title pushed her into the world's top 20 for the first time, and the withdrawals of higher-ranked players like Karolina Muchova, Victoria Mboko, and Jasmine Paolini, all sidelined by injuries. The bye means Eala won't have to play until the second round, likely on Saturday, August 15. Her first opponent will be either Poland's Magda Linette or Romania's Elena Gabriela Ruse, who face each other in the opening round. Eala has history with both. She holds a 2-2 head-to-head record against Linette, having beaten her in the 2026 ASB Classic quarterfinals and the 2026 Miami Open round of 32, while losing in the 2025 Nottingham Open and 2024 Abu Dhabi Open. Against Ruse, she dropped a 3-set decision at the 2024 U.S. Open. But the bye is about more than just match preparation. It's about recovery. Eala had just completed one of the most grueling stretches of her career, 8 matches in roughly 12 days across 2 tournaments, winning 7 of them in hugely impressive fashion. Her body had been pushed to its absolute limit. Her ankle had been taped, untaped, and tested against Caddy McNally. And now she had a chance to breathe. What would you do if the biggest challenge wasn't your opponent, but your own exhaustion? For Alex Eala, the answer was simple. She would rest. She would recover. She would get a haircut and fresh nails. And she would come back stronger. Because she knew that the bye wasn't just a gift. It was an opportunity. And she was ready to seize it. The world number one is in the same draw, and she just watched Alex Eala skip the first round entirely. Aryna Sabalenka has been watching the Filipina sensations rise with a mixture of respect and curiosity, and when she saw Eala's name as the No. 17 seed in Cincinnati, she knew exactly what it meant. The 21-year-old who once said she'd steal Sabalenka's serve is now standing right beside her as an equal in the draw. The top seed at the Cincinnati Open, Sabalenka headlines a field that includes all of the world's best players. But the Belarusian's attention has been drawn to something unexpected. The Filipina, who has been mirroring her tournament path for months. The numbers tell a story that's impossible to ignore. Eala mirrors Sabalenka's recent tournament pattern in an almost eerie way. The two players have reached the same round in the last 4 tournaments they both entered. At the Italian Open, both exited in the round of 32. During the grass court swing, both advanced to the Berlin Open semifinals. At Wimbledon, both fell in the fourth round. In Toronto, both were stopped at the round of 16. Sabalenka's recent dip in form makes the comparison even more notable. The world know. One has not been at her dominant best in recent months, and Eala's consistency has shown how far she has come. Sabalenka is one of just 4 players to hold top 10 status in both singles and doubles, a testament to her versatility. But the Belarusian has struggled with the same inconsistency that has plagued the top of the women's game. For Sabalenka, Eala's presence in the draw is no longer just a curiosity, it's a possibility. The two players are projected to meet only in the final, as Sabalenka sits at the top of the draw while Eala is in the bottom half. But if the seeds hold, a Sabalenka-Eala final would be one of the most anticipated matchups of the tournament. Eala has already made clear she wants to face the world number 1. "I would steal Sabalenka's serve for sure," she had said earlier in the year, confessing which shot she would take from any player. The world know. One's reaction to Eala's seeding was one of quiet acknowledgement. Sources close to the Belarusian revealed that Sabalenka has been following Eala's journey for months. She was aware of the parallels between their tournament runs and the consistency Eala has shown. She also recognized the Filipina's commercial impact, having watched the frenzy she created in Toronto. For Sabalenka, the rise of a player like Eala, who has already defeated 6 top 10 opponents this season, signals a shift in the sport. When the world number 1 is watching, every match matters. And for Alex Eala, the Cincinnati Open is the next step on a journey that has already placed her on a collision course with the best player in the world. The question caught her off guard. But her answer revealed everything about her ambition. "I would steal Sabalenka's serve for sure." Ahead of her 2026 Miami Open campaign, Alex Eala was asked a simple question. If she could take any shot from any player, what would it be and from whom? The 21-year-old didn't hesitate. The world number 1's serve was the obvious choice. It's a weapon that has terrorized opponents across the tour, and Eala knew exactly why she wanted it. The stats explain Sabalenka's dominance from the service line. Across 19 matches in 2026, Sabalenka recorded a service game 1 percentage of 88.3%, the second highest on tour. She ranks 3rd in break points, saved, 6th in aces, and 2nd in percentage of serve points won. Her serve isn't just powerful, it's one of the most reliable weapons in the game, a tool that has carried her through the most pressurized moments of her career. But Eala's admiration for Sabalenka goes beyond her serve. When former U.S. Open champion Andy Roddick asked Eala on his podcast which current player she'd most like to face, her answer was immediate. "Sabalenka, of course," she said. "I think everyone wants to play the number 1 in the world." She revealed that she almost had the chance at the 2025 Miami Open, where she reached the semifinals. "My coach told me, 'Alex, you're in the semifinals of a Masters of Miami nonetheless, and you're playing for a spot to play against the number 1 in the world. So this is where you want to be.' That dream remains unfulfilled, but the possibility is closer than ever." In Cincinnati, Eala is seeded number 17, her highest seeding ever at a WTA 1000 event. She receives a first-round bye and will face either Magda Linette or Elena Gabriela Ruse in her opener. If she advances past her opening match, the challenge becomes considerably tougher. Amanda Anisimova awaits as a likely third-round opponent, with Wimbledon champion Linda Noskova potentially in the 4th round. Jessica Pegula, whom Eala defeated in the Washington Open final, is projected to be her quarterfinal opponent. At the other end of the draw, Sabalenka or Coco Gauff are the most likely opponents Eala could face in the final. The world know. One has been watching Eala's rise with a mixture of respect and curiosity. Sabalenka's recent results have mirrored Eala's almost eerily. At the Italian Open, both exited in the round of 32. During the grass court swing, both advanced to the Berlin Open semifinals. At Wimbledon, both fell in the 4th round. In Toronto, both were stopped at the round of 16 stage. Sabalenka's recent dip in form makes the comparison even more striking, but Eala's consistency shows how far she has come. Should Eala be able to keep this type of form up, there is absolutely no reason why she cannot continue to climb the rankings and even become a top 10 player. When a player who admires your serve says she'd steal it, you know you've earned her respect. But Eala's ambition goes far beyond just one shot. She knows that if she wants to beat Sabalenka and the rest of the world's best, her own serve must improve. Andrea Petkovic, the former world No. 9, has pointed out that Eala's serve is inconsistent, with weeks where she struggles to find her rhythm and leaves her second serve vulnerable to attack. Against big hitters like Sabalenka, Aryna Sabalenka, and Coco Gauff, that's a weakness that can be ruthlessly exploited. What would you do if you had the chance to face the world number 1? For Alex Eala, the answer was simple. She would keep fighting, keep believing, and keep proving that the girl with ruffled socks and light-up shoes was ready to take on the best in the world, serve and all. The exhaustion was real. The defeat in Toronto was fresh. But when Alex Eala looked at the Cincinnati Open draw, she knew she had been given something priceless. Time. I will take maybe 2 days off, a day or two. I do have to travel to Cincinnati. I need to get a haircut. I haven't gotten a haircut in a while. My nails are grown out. The words, delivered with a chuckle in her post-match press conference after the loss to Belinda Bencic, became a light-hearted anthem for a champion who refused to let one defeat define her run. The 21-year-old Filipina had just finished one of the most grueling stretches of her career. 8 matches in roughly 12 days across 2 tournaments, winning 7 of them, including her first WTA Tour title at the DC Open. Her body had been pushed to its absolute limit. Her ankle had been taped, untaped, and tested against Caty McNally. And now, she needed a break. I'll do a couple things, just to get my mind off tennis. Reunite maybe with some friends in Cincinnati, and just try to have fun. The break was brief but essential. A chance to step away from the tennis whirlwind, to reconnect with friends, and to simply breathe. I'll be back on court like that, she added, snapping her fingers to emphasize how quickly she would return to the court. So I got to enjoy what I have. I got to enjoy the time that I have that I'm not on court. But Eala's confidence in her return was clear. I'm going to try to recover and come back out hot, she declared. Now, with fresh nails, a fresh haircut, and a fresh mindset, Eala is ready to embrace the next chapter. She has arrived in Cincinnati as the No. 17 seed, her highest seeding ever in a WTA 1000 event. A first-round bye will give her additional time to recover, and the field, packed with the WTA's elite, is ready to test her mettle. The Cincinnati Open, which runs from August 13 to 23 at the Lindner Family Tennis Center in Mason, Ohio, is the final major tune-up before the U.S. Open. The tournament boasts a staggering 7,433,076 ounce prize pool and features virtually all of the world's best players. Aryna Sabalenka, Aryna Sabalenka, Jessica Pegula, Coco Gauff, and defending champion Iga Swiatek are all in the field. Eala, seeded No. 17, will begin her campaign in the second round against either Poland's Magda Linette or Romania's Elena Gabriela Ruse. For Eala, the bye is about more than just match preparation. It's about recovery. The physical toll of the past 2 weeks has been undeniable. She had played 8 matches in roughly 12 days, winning 7 of them. The ankle injury against McNally was a warning sign of deeper fatigue. The 6-4, 6-0 loss to Bencic was the result of a body that had simply given out. But now, with a chance to rest and reset, Eala is ready to prove that Toronto was just a speed bump, not a roadblock. The lessons from Toronto are fresh in her mind. The exhaustion, the ankle scare, the loss to Bencic. All of it has prepared her for this moment. She knows that the North American hard court swing is about more than just winning matches. It's about building the confidence and momentum that will carry her through the U.S. Open and beyond. What would you do if the biggest challenge wasn't your opponent, but your own exhaustion? For Alex Eala, the answer was simple. She would rest. She would recover. She would get a haircut and fresh nails. And then, she would come back stronger, ready to prove that the girl with ruffled socks and light-up shoes was just getting started. Done. The bye is secured. The rest is done. And now, Alex Eala faces the most consequential tournament of her career, a WTA 1000 event where every win pushes her closer to history. The Cincinnati Open is more than just another tournament. It's the final test before the US Open. And Eala's path to the final is loaded with familiar faces. Eala's opening opponent will be either Poland's Magda Linette or Romania's Elena Gabriela Rus. Both are players she knows well. Against Linette, she has a 2-2 head-to-head record, with victories in Auckland and Miami this year. Against Rus, she has a 0-1 record, having lost a 3-set match at the 2024 US Open qualifiers. The first-round match between Linette and Rus will determine who stands across the net in Eala's second-round debut. But that's just the beginning. If Eala advances, the challenge becomes considerably tougher. According to analyst projections, she is expected to face 10 Amanda Anisimova in the third round, a dangerous American playing on home soil ahead of the US Open. The fourth round could bring Wimbledon champion Linda Noskova, the Czech star who has beaten Eala twice this season. A quarterfinal berth would potentially set up a rematch against Jessica Pegula, the world number 3, and the player Eala defeated in the Washington Open final just days ago. The semifinal could feature Iga Swiatek or Elena Rybakina, and at the other end of the draw, world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka or Coco Gauff are the most likely opponents in the final. The ranking stakes are equally significant. Eala enters the Cincinnati Open as the world number 20, her highest ranking ever. She is seeded 17th, her highest seeding at a WTA 1000 event, due to her own results and the withdrawals of higher-ranked players. She is not defending any points in Cincinnati, having never played the main draw there before, which means every point she earns is pure gain. A deep run could push her even higher in the rankings, potentially cracking the top 15 for the first time in her career. Former national team coach Carl Santamaria has even suggested that deep runs in both Cincinnati and the US Open could propel Eala into the top 8 and a spot in the WTA finals, the prestigious year-end championship with a $15.5 million prize pool. Eala is currently number 14 in the WTA finals race with 1,878 points. The financial stakes are just as high. The Cincinnati Open boasts a staggering $7,433,076 prize pool, making it one of the most lucrative stops on the WTA calendar. A deep run would add significant prize money to Eala's already impressive earnings, which include $89,700 from Toronto alone. But for Eala, the money and rankings have never been the point. I'm counting my blessings. I'm taking the lessons that I have had from these 2 weeks and hopefully implementing them even more and in a better way in Cincinnati and New York. What would you do if you were on the verge of cracking the top 15 and qualifying for the WTA finals? For Alex Eala, the answer was simple. She would keep fighting, keep believing, and keep proving that the girl with ruffled socks and light-up shoes was destined for greatness. Because she knew that the Cincinnati Open was the next step on a journey that was only just beginning. And the final Grand Slam of the year was waiting.